Some battles don't end with a gunshot. They end with a choice. And in the Chi, every choice has a cost. Season 7 has been digging deep into loyalty, power, and survival. Episode 10 is right around the corner, and the stakes have never felt higher. Will friendships be torn apart? Will secrets finally explode in the open? And most importantly, who's going to make it out of this storm alive? Let's break down what episode 10 might bring. Episode 9 was heavy. It didn't just move the story forward, it shook the foundation of nearly every major character. And while it didn't answer every question, it left us with a whole lot to worrying about heading into episode 10. Let's start with Emmett and Keisha. The tension in their relationship has been growing slowly, like a pot left on the stove too long. On the outside, they look like they're holding it together, parenting, working, building a future. But deep down, you can see the cracks. Emmett is dealing with pressure from every angle. The streets, his business, and the shadow of Douda still hanging over his head. Meanwhile, Keisha is trying to be strong for the family, but you can feel she's carrying something she hasn't fully said out loud. Their quiet argument at the end of episode 9? That wasn't just a small fight. That was a warning. Then there's Douda, still cold, still dangerous. After everything he's done, you'd think people would stop trusting him, but power does strange things to people. In episode 9, we saw how deep his reach really goes. He's not just playing the game, he is the game. But even Douda isn't invincible. There's a storm forming around him, and it's coming from people he once called friends. The look on his face in that final scene, calm, collected, but calculating, tells us he knows it to Victor, on the other hand, is trying to walk a path that barely exists. He's a man caught between his past and his future. He wants to lead, to inspire, to leave the street life behind. But in Chicago, especially in this show, nothing stays buried forever. Episode 9 put him back in the crosshairs, not just politically, but personally. His campaign is starting to feel the heat, and the decisions he makes in episode 10 could either redeem him or ruin him. Paul Curry and Linny also had their moment in the spotlight. Paul Curry is still trying to prove himself, to do something right. But it's hard to stay clean when you've been in the dirt for so long. He wants love. He wants peace. But wanting something and earning it are two different things. Linny sees through the fake, and in episode 9, her silence said more than her words. And let's not forget Jada and Darnell. They've become the emotional heart of this season, showing us what real love, growth, and second chances can look like. But even love like theirs gets tested. Their brief moment of doubt, their quiet worrying about Emmett, it was subtle, but powerful. They're scared for their son, and they should be. By the end of episode 9, it felt like everyone was holding their breath, waiting for something big. Every scene felt like it could explode. Every conversation had tension underneath it. Episode 9 didn't give us the big fireworks, but it lit the fuse. Now, all eyes are on episode 10. Right now, Emmett is like a man trying to hold back an avalanche with his bare hands. On the surface, he's trying to keep his family stable, be a good father, run his business, and stay away from trouble. But the weight is becoming too much. And let's be real, no matter how much he tries to walk the straight path, he's still tied to Douda. Whether he likes it or not, that connection isn't just dangerous, it's poison. We expect episode 10 to put Emmett in a tight corner. There may come a moment where he has to choose between protecting his family or protecting himself. That decision could either break him or turn him into someone we don't recognize anymore. Now, Keisha. She's one of the strongest people in the show, but even strong people break sometimes. She's carrying emotional weight from her past, her relationship, and her role as a mother. She's been Emmett's anchor, but now we're seeing signs that she's getting tired. In episode 10, we may finally see her speak the truth she's been holding in. Whether it's about her relationship, her dreams, or her pain, something's going to spill over. And it might change everything between her and Emmett. Uda, of course, is always 10 steps ahead, or at least he thinks he is. He's ruled through fear, money, and manipulation. But power always comes with enemies, and in episode 10, we expect at least one of those enemies to step out of the shadows. There's a growing sense that Douda's days of being untouchable are running out. Whether it's a betrayal from inside his own circle or an outside force finally coming for him, he may find himself cornered. And Douda doesn't beg, he strikes. So expect violence, expect fear, and expect Douda to remind everyone why you don't play with him, but also expect a surprise. Because even someone like Douda has limits. And the cracks in his empire are starting to show. Victor is in a complicated place. He wants redemption. He wants to be more than just another street name. He wants to lead, to inspire change. But his past is always close behind him, and politics isn't as clean as he hoped. In episode 10, he'll likely face a choice between protecting his image or protecting someone he loves. And in a world like the Chi, both options come with a price. Watch Victor closely. If he bends too far, he could break. And if he breaks, the campaign might not be the only thing that ends. Pakari, the young soldier trying to find his way, is walking on a thin line. He wants to be different. He wants to grow, but his past keeps calling, and his pride won't always let him ask for help. His relationship with Linny is one of the few things grounding him, but even that is fragile. In episode 10, Pakari may find himself pulled back into something dark. Maybe a test of loyalty, maybe a moment where he has to choose between what's right and what's easy. And when the pressure hits, we'll see what kind of man he really wants to be. Linny, sharp and observant, has always seen through the BS. She's not flashy, but she's powerful in her own way. She wants stability, honesty, and someone who doesn't drag her back into chaos. If Pakari slips again, she may walk away, and that could be the wake-up call he needs. Or the push that sends him further off track. Then there's Jedi and Darnell. Honestly, they've become the emotional backbone of the show. They represent maturity, second chances, and the beauty of trying again. But in episode 10, we could see their peace disturbed, not by drama between them, but by what's happening around them. If Emmett goes down a dark road, they may be forced to step in. And their decisions might bring back some old pain. Still, we expect them to be a voice of reason in the chaos. We just hope that reason is enough to keep the family from falling apart. Lastly, keep an eye on Papa. He hasn't been at the center of the storm lately, but he's been shifting. Spiritually, emotionally, he's finding his own path. Episode 10 could be the one where he finally takes a stand, whether it's against the street life or in support of a friend who needs him. Papa's quiet strength might just become something louder, more powerful, and badly needed. Every character is at a breaking point. Episode 10 is shaping up to be a turning point, not just for one storyline, but for the entire season. The question now is, who's going to change and who's going to break? That's the heartbeat of the two this season. And in episode 10, it's likely we'll see the message echo even louder. Let's break down the key themes and symbolic elements we think will drive the story forward. This has always been a core struggle in the Chi, but lately, it's getting more intense. Characters like Emmett, Pakari, and even Victor are being pulled in different directions between staying loyal to the people they love and doing what they need to survive. The question is, can you really have both? In episode 10, we're expecting to see that tested hard, loyalty will be put on trial, whether it's through betrayal, tough choices, or situations where helping someone else might get you killed or ruined. Don't be surprised if a character you thought was solid decides to walk away. Or flip sides, watch how conversations are framed. A simple look, a pause, or a decision made in silence could speak volumes about where someone's true loyalties lie, and pay close attention to how trust gets tested, because once it's broken, it's hard to come back from. Nobody plays with power more than Douda, but lately, he's been feeling the heat. His grip isn't as tight as it once was, and people are starting to notice. That opens the door for power to shift, and in the chi, power never moves quietly. Episode 10 will likely show us just how fragile control can be. We might see Douda make a desperate move to reassert dominance. Or maybe someone else, the surprising face, will rise and challenge him. Either way, watch for scenes that focus on silence, shadows, and backroom deals. These are the visual clues that remind us power isn't always loud. But when it slips, the fall is deafening. Also, look at how characters are filmed in relation to each other when someone is seated while another stands, or when a voice gets cut off mid-sentence. It's not just drama. It's symbolic. It shows who's gaining control and who's losing it. Family is love. Family is strength. But in the chi, family can also be pain, pressure, and legacy. Episode 10 might bring that theme to a boiling point, especially for characters like Emmett, Keisha, Douda, and Darnell. When you love someone, you fight for them. But when you're hurt by them, what do you do? We expect to see these emotional walls get pushed. Maybe a family member chooses the streets over the home. Maybe someone finally sets a boundary or breaks down one that's been up for years. Either way, this episode could dig into those quiet moments that hurt more than bullets: a parent's disappointment, a child's silence, a partner's betrayal. Listen to the background music during family scenes. The score often tells us how deep the emotional current runs, even when the words don't. Chicago isn't just the backdrop, it's part of the story. The noise, the culture, the danger, the beauty, it all blends together. And in episode 10, we expect to see the city show its face again, both as a home and a battlefield. Whether it's a block party with smiles and music, or a street corner lit only by flashing blue lights, Chicago continues to shape these characters. It pushes them, traps them, saves them. The way certain scenes are shot, like long tracking shots of the neighborhood or overhead views of the South Side, remind us that this isn't just about people. It's about place, history, community. And in the most symbolic moments, the city will speak through an empty park bench, a boarded up shop, a quiet bus ride. Each one tells a story of what was and what's still possible. Finally, there's the theme of change. Can people really change? Can the system change? Or are we just dressing up the same cycle in different clothes? Episode 10 may put that question front and center. Watch for speeches, interviews, quiet personal moments. These scenes may not seem explosive, but they're doing something deeper, making us wonder, are these people really moving forward? Or are they just pretending to? Victor's campaign is the clearest symbol of this theme. It's a chance at real transformation, or a trap waiting to swallow him whole. If he slips even once, it could undo everything. And yet, even the most sincere characters are struggling with that question. Keisha wants to move on. Emmett wants to grow up. But change takes more than desire. It takes sacrifice. And in this next episode, someone may have to give something up to prove they've really changed. In the chi, what you see on the surface is never the whole story. The real weight is always in the shadows, in the silence, in the choices people make when no one's watching. So in episode 10, don't just look at what happens, look at why. That's where the truth is. That's exactly what we expect from episode 10. If the chi has taught us anything, it's that just when things seem to calm down, that's when you should start worrying. The mid-season finale or closing episodes are where everything usually shifts, And based on how Season 7 has been building up, Episode 10 might leave us with one of the most intense cliffhangers yet. Asterisk, let's break down what that twist might look like. And who's most likely to get caught in it. Asterisk, this one's been brewing for too long. Asterisk, Emmett has been walking a tightrope since the minute he made that deal with Douda. In the earlier seasons, he tried to hustle clean, but now he's tangled up in something way deeper, and he's running out of moves. The quiet tension between them in recent episodes hasn't been for nothing. It's a setup. A big one. Asterisk, episode 10 could be the moment where Emmett either stands up to Douda or finally gets burned. And here's the thing. Douda doesn't warn people twice. If Emmett slips, talks out of turn, or tries to get out, we might see real consequences, a threat, a beating, or something worse. Asterisk, picture this. The episode ends with Emmett getting a phone call, no words, just heavy breathing. Or maybe he walks into Smokey's and finds it empty. Except for a message written on the wall, something personal, something chilling. The message, Douda knows, and he's coming. Asterisk, let's be honest. The Chi has never been afraid to remind us how real the streets can get. And when too many people are talking, someone always ends up silenced. Asterisk, right now, Douda is feeling pressure, and when he feels pressure, he lashes out. Episode 10 could feature a shocking hit, not necessarily a main character, but someone close enough to shake the whole foundation. Think a friend, a side character who's been loyal, but now knows too much. Or even worse, someone innocent, caught in the crossfire. Asterisk, this death, if it happens, won't be just for shock. It'll be a message, a warning, a way to raise the stakes heading into the next phase of the season. And the emotional fallout could pull everyone deeper into the fire. Asterisk, who's at risk? Paul Curry, Knock, or even Linny. The streets don't care about timing. And Douda doesn't leave loose ends. Asterisk, if there's one rule in the Chi, it's that you can't trust everyone just because they've been loyal so far. Asterisk, in episode 10, don't be surprised if someone flips. A quiet betrayal, a secret deal. A moment where someone chooses self-preservation over friendship. That betrayal might not be loud. It might not even be exposed right away. But the audience will know, and it'll sting. Asterisk, the signs have been there. Victor's political team is shady. Some of Douda's closest people are looking at him sideways. Even Emmett's friends have been a little too quiet. We wouldn't be shocked if episode 10 ends with a character walking into a trap set by someone they trusted. Asterisk, it's not about who pulled the trigger. It's about who gave up the location. Asterisk, Victor has been trying to balance truth and politics. But in this game, truth isn't always welcome. There's a strong chance episode 10 will push him closer to either a huge public mistake or an expose that could ruin everything. Asterisk, imagine this. He's at a press conference. Someone in the crowd calls him out, Liv, about his past. Or a video leaks, maybe something from years ago that was supposed to stay buried. The episode could end with the public turning on him, cameras flashing, his team scrambling. Asterisk, or worse, Victor may finally admit something too honest. And honesty in politics, that's like bleeding in shark-infested waters. Asterisk, either way, the final shot could be a Victor looking into the distance, knowing everything's about to fall apart. Asterisk, what if episode 10 doesn't end with a bang, but with a whisper? Asterisk, the Chi loves these kinds of endings. A quiet scene, no music, just real emotion. Asterisk, we might see Keisha sitting alone, looking at her phone, but not texting. Emmett walking down the street with that look, the one where you can feel something terrible is about to happen. Or Douda watching from a car, windows tinted, engine running. Waiting. Asterisk, sometimes the most powerful twist isn't what happens, it's how they let you sit with it. No answers, just tension. Asterisk, a door closing. A gun being loaded, a single tear. Then the screen fades to black. Asterisk, that's how the chi reminds you. This isn't over. It's just beginning. Asterisk, so when you watch episode 10, don't just look for explosions and action. Watch the quiet moments. The looks, the pauses, the things left unsaid. That's where the chi hides its biggest truths and its biggest surprises. Asterisk, and trust us, whatever happens in episode 10, it's going to change everything moving forward. Asterisk, so now we wait. Asterisk, the tension has built, the stories are colliding, and episode 10 stands at the edge of something major. Whether it's betrayal, loss, or redemption, one thing is clear: nothing will be the same after this. The chi doesn't just tell stories, it makes you feel them. And the next episode could leave us holding our breath until the very last frame. Asterisk, now it's your turn. Asterisk, what do you think is about to happen? Will Emmett finally cut ties with Douda? Will Victor survive the storm of politics? And who's going to make it out of episode 10? Changed forever. Asterisk, drop your predictions in the comments. Let's see who's really watching closely. Asterisk, and if you felt the tension building right along with us, tap that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Asterisk, because if the chi has taught us anything, asterisk, the streets are always watching. Asterisk, asterisk.